active sun, moon, rising, Venus sign. Welcome to your 7-card draw. What do I need? Shadow read for this full moon to new moon in June 2022. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short. They're my initials, not fiction. Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short. A professional witch, a professional intuitive, a president of Drawing the Circle Productions. I'm referring to myself, I think, in third person. Please don't make me do math. Author of Words of Grace. From a professional witch, available on Kindle. There is a link in the description box, and you can preview the first bunch of pages for free, just saying, and you would be able to read not just the reviews, but the dedication that I made to my mom. I dedicated the book to her, and the only reason I mention it, because I don't in every single video, is because I'm going to see her on the full moon that we will be talking about. I'm driving up north to Saratoga, so getting these done and out there for you all so that I can take a few days off and recoup, rest and relax with my family. Because I'm also a creator on Patreon, which is an everyday thing for me, as is pretty much YouTube, right? I love my Patreon, patreon.com/drawingthecircle. Letting my artist flag fly there full force, which is a lot of alliteration for an intro part of a video, but I'm sure we'll find a way to cope with that. I got humans, heroes, angels, witches, immortals, gods, and goddesses as my subscription tiers over there, different prices. They've all got amazing benefits. I really jam it in there because my inner artist has been set free, and it feels so good. And by the way, speaking of free, happy Pride Month. Blessed Pride Month. I'm a gay male. If you couldn't tell, check the batteries in your gaydar because they ain't working. And I'm also a cat mama because, you know, you got to give you hairography, fanography. I'm trying to keep it light because we're doing shadow reads, and I'm doing this on the Saturday before the full moon, and the moon's in Scorpio. God has helped me. So let's get down. Oh, to business. By URL Earl. Earl's gotta die. If you are new to my channel, a 7-card draw is just one card from 7 different decks, giving you clues, tips, and hints about a specific astrological timeline. Let's look at it, because it's a waning moon. Oh, hold on, my kitty cat needs me. Go ahead. Go ahead. No. Fickle, thy name is feline. Oh my god. It is a waning moon, 2-week period we're looking at, so it's not a timeless read. It's a timed read. The letting go, the releasing, we'll talk about it. We're looking at the full moon in Sagittarius on Tuesday, June 14th. Also my father's birthday. God rest his soul, or whoever is looking after him now. He's a Gemini, Lord knows. Let's hope he does. The 7:52 a.m. Also Flag Day, also Donald Trump's birthday, so trust me, I'm still here. I'm symbolically, I guess, the Tiffany, whatever. And then we're looking at the 2 weeks of letting go, releasing, whittling away, waning, the alchemy from lead to gold. Lead has 3 more elements than gold on the periodic table. Listen, earth signs, I'm talking the periodic table. Earth science for us. I am a Virgo, if you didn't know. So that you can shift timelines, right, from a more leaded to a golden timeline. And because we're all one, the more you do your shadow work, the more I do my shadow work. We are helping to heal the planet, not just the ecology, the psychology, because we all have unfinished business, ancestral patterns, pain that we haven't really dealt with. And when we push it down and don't deal with it, it goes into the collective unconscious and pops up as weird shit like war and school shootings and abuse and neglect, and it's just horrible. That's what I came in to do in this life, so that's why I do these readings, to help you out and clear the plate, particularly for a new moon in Cancer, your opposite sign. There's power in astrological opposites. The new moon in Cancer, Tuesday, June 28th. 10:52 p.m. all times Eastern. I am in New York, so I'm going to be doing my full moon magic for Patreon, and everybody else gets it a couple of days later. I got a nice candle spell for Sagittarius, I think about ready to rock and roll. And then, of course, I will have the 5-card draws out for the waxing moon reads for that new moon in Cancer. And I'm doing a little, probably some kind of water magic. I'm just thinking. So, it is a general read. Please take what resonates, leave what doesn't, check your other signs. Why? Because, number one, what we look here at for the Capricorns, you're getting one version of a timeline. Add your moon, you might get a more intuitive, emotional part of the same timeline. Same with your rising, same with your Venus. But they also could be 4 different situations that you are doing shadow work with. I mean, it's all connected. We're all doing it, right? It's just part of the lunar cycle of it all. So both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. And I'll get you the clarity, guidance, and grace to help you do the shadow work. Just some clues, tips, and hints, right? But no matter what hits the table, it's all up to you to do your shadow work. No one can do it with you. Have I helped people do shadow work? Yes. I was a minister, a pagan witch minister. So yes, trips to the underworld so many times. I have the River Styx speed pass. So, but you know, I'm sort of a guide, I guess, down there. Psychopomp, qu'est-ce que c'est? Yeah, I can do it with you, but I can't do it for you. But as each one of us does, we alchemize the shadow for all of humanity. Because I don't think animals have shadows, nor do trees. Well, not literal, Jungian, for surezies. So the more that we do that, the more we move this planet and everybody on it into a more golden timeline, which I think is going to have less war, less poverty, less injustice, less abuse, less neglect, less codependence, and certainly sounds like paradise to me. Yeah, so let's do this. Please take a nice deep breath. From explanation to divination and a Taurus kitty cat. Look, it's all of the earth signs here. Capricorn, you, Virgo, me, and a Taurus. Hey, Milky, you lay down, sweet boy. I love you. He's just a camera hog. Unfortunately, he doesn't realize that if he came on this chair, he would be more visible. Instead, he chooses the black chair. He's sphinxing out. All right, let's see if he stays there. One more nice deep breath, please. Animals. Still point. Here we go. Using the Caroline Myss archetype deck, I call upon the collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of the general assembly, the higher selves of all evolved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra, and above the spirit animals and totems, as well as the pantheon of all pantheons of all traditions, lineages, and cultures, covering everybody and their ancestors. That just covers everybody. That is as carte blanche as you get. The pantheon of all pantheons, traditions, lineages, and cultures. What is the dominant 8th chakra archetype using the Caroline Myss archetype cards? Changing the electromagnetics of every chakra underneath it, what they attract, what they repel, indicating the shadow work, indicating the gold that they are shooting for, so that as they do this, manifesting their Capricorn 10th house highest potential, they alchemize the lead to gold, the pain to peace, the toxic to healthy, the shadow to light, this full to new. June 2022. Now, don't freak out. No, it's already in the title. People freak out about this word, and rightly so. But we have to put it in a larger theological context to get its true meaning. It is the slave archetype. Now, I know it's a weird word, man. But slaves are scriptural. I mean, it really goes back centuries in so many different traditions. I mean, Leviticus much? Oh, Exodus. Oh my God, I got my books of the Bible wrong. Well, I'm a witch, but I could have been a comparative religion scholar, big time, but too much tweed, not my gig. The shadow is what you don't want to look at. Or if you do look at it, you don't want anybody else to look at it or know about it. This is the lead, giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. So that can be addiction, right? You can be a slave to anything, a slave to money, right? In that sense. I mean, it's really about abdication of power, or having your power taken from you, as in a literal slave, but I don't think that's what we're talking about here. I want you to think, really, read Sacred Contracts by Caroline Myss. I mean, the slave has the opportunity to what? Surrender their power of choice to the divine with complete trust. That's Moses. And not just Moses, right? Every mystic, and I'm not saying everybody I read for is a mystic, but I sure am. I've had to surrender all sorts of power of decision and choices to the divine, saying, I don't know. Show me, use me. But they assure me I'm not a slave, I'm a servant. The difference is the servant archetype has a choice. The slave either hemorrhages that way or surrenders this way. It's very 12-steppy in its way, I will say that. So surrendering your power of choice, throat chakra thing there, to the divine with complete trust. And that's not done overnight. That is a process. Trust and faith are like a bank account. You want to invest it wisely, but sometimes you got to take a risk. Welcome to the shadow work. Speaking of which, the next 4 chakras down will really focus in on where the shadow work begins. The next 4 chakras: crown, third eye, throat, and heart. Spiritual, mental, willpower, choices, decisions, and emotional power. This is where you choose to do to do the shadow work, to take the journey, to do the healing work necessary or not. And that's what really does determine which timeline you move to. You can visualize all you want. You can worry all you like. But that's not what shifts you to a new timeline, apparently. It's actually about doing what you came here to do. As a soul, an immortal soul, and an eternal being, a divine God, goddess on a hero's journey in human form. Shall we? Daughters of the Moon Tarot. Dig it. Please take a nice deep breath. Keeping my eye on you, Savvy, over there. Keep my third eye on you. Still point. As I call upon my goddesses of earth, the sign of Capricorn, powers of the north, please, beloved one. One card in clarity for the Capricorn collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. What's going on in their internal dynamic, their feminine energy, their personal level of power, their heart, throat, third eye, crown, the world behind their eyes that nobody knows about unless they open up, show it, or share it, to help them get clear. What do they need to know on the inside to alchemize that slave archetype from lead to gold? This full to new, June 2022. You got a court card. Hina, the Maiden of Blades, which is the Gemini card. So that is the Knight of Swords, the fastest moving knight, the one that gallops. With the slave here, this is very third eye. It can be very much about communication, so it's very throat chakra. Gemini third house dynamic is about self-expression, so check your natal chart. Even if it's a planet, you know, it's not Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. If you got something in Gemini, you might want to check out. Maybe you got an asteroid or Chiron or Vesta. You never know who's going to stop by when at the moment of birth, unless you look. So this might be a thing here with that mutable air, that there's a lot of thoughts affecting the choices right now. Things are changing. And the vibe that I get on it is that you're also gathering information here as well. It's a big part of Gemini energy. Like a bee going from flower to flower to flower to flower to flower, taking the constituent parts and creating something beautiful and delicious out of it. Now, I am reminded by whoever or whatever that 10th house is highest potential, according to Carolyn Mace's book, Sacred Contracts. She doesn't necessarily redefine the 12 houses of the astrological wheel, but she clarifies them in a way that really suits at least my work with soul contracts. I was raised by a lawyer. Of course I know how to read a contract. Please. So when it's a court card inside, it's usually about you, an internal state condition, but it's changeable. It's mutable, right? Mutable air. But certainly it can be mirrored by someone on the outside as well. So let's have a look at the outside with the Mythic Tarot. I love the Mythic Tarot. It's based in Greek myth. That's my predominant deity pantheon, although I'll work with whoever. Why? Because it's all one anyway. Let's talk about the lower 3 chakras. This deck takes care of the physical world. You looking at yourself from the outside in. Looking at a person, place, or thing, you from the inside out. Lower 3 chakras are about relationships in the world, in physical form, right? Lower chakra tribes, groups, circles of friends, your nationality, your political leaning, your favorite band. In my family, and it's so true, it's like the family seems split down the middle in terms of Mets versus Yankee fans. It's a tribe and then a tribe, right? Second chakra, your relationship to another person or thing. Money, sex, power, like an umbilical cord. For healthy or toxic, they're there on a sole purpose, not necessarily for a human reason. And solar plexus, your relationship to yourself in this world. Your honor code, what you will, what you won't, what you do, what you don't, right? Your boundaries, so important. And Capricorns are pretty much born with boundaries in a sense, because they are born old and grow young. It's the trick of getting older and knowing how to drop those to really enjoy life in a healthy, safe, balanced way. Like don't talk to strangers is great for a 4-year-old. It's a nightmare on a 40-year-old, right? So let's see what hits the table for you. The masculine energy. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. As I call upon my gods of earth. The sign of Capricorn, powers of the north, lower 3 chakras, masculine dynamic. What is it that the Capricorn collective sun, moon, rising, Venus side needs to be aware of, needs to acknowledge, needs to look at, needs to embrace whatever is going on to help them alchemize this slave from abdicating responsibility horizontally to surrendering their will to the divine. With that Gemini card, which can also be contradictory thought, right? Two twins. The ego versus the soul, with the personality in between, perhaps, but the soul doesn't fight, but the ego never stops fighting until it eventually unravels on a particular subject. So, yeah, to ground this, what's going on? Lower 3 chakras for the Capricorn collective this full to new June 2022. Well, don't you just have the Empress? Oh, Demeter, hail Demeter, yeah, you'll love her when you meet her. Then you'll grind her up and eat her. And that's good enough for me. Goddess of grain, goddess of agriculture, Roman name Ceres. It's where we get the word cereal from, so don't think I was talking about divine cannibalism there. This is the queens of all of the tarot, all of the court cards amalgamated into one. So you could say fire, earth, air, water, spirit. Queen. Now we are looking at the mother, the wife, the divine feminine card of the major arcana. Others may have feminine energy, but this represents divine feminine energy, just as the emperor does all the kings and represents divine masculine. I mean, this is fertility. This is unconditional love. And when it's a major arcana chakra in either the inner or the outer, it's all of them. So all lower 3 chakras. Is this about pregnancy? Remember, pregnancy need not always be literal. Artists they conceive a lot, and they can carry, and they can labor, but sometimes they don't deliver, right? So this can be high creativity too, but it seems like the mind and the self-expression of this, right? The choices seem a bit, I don't want to say convoluted, but I will say confusing and perhaps even chaotic. Man, I'm speaking in alliteration a lot for my Capricorns. That's how you know the gods are in the room. They do it all the time to me, even when no one's really around. But that's my gig, be a mystic. Mysticism for fun, profit, and at least you get the speed pass for the river Styx. Your chakras here are symbolized on the table. Let's get you a Matt Kahn healing mantra to help you bring that into alignment. It's just helpful to have something to focus on for 2 weeks, little by little by little by little, like homeopathy, right? You don't drink a whole gallon of the stuff at once, right? You take like a drop every 3 hours for the rest of your life. And that's how it works. Yeah, no, I am sorry. I am not naturopath, I am witch. Let's see what hits the table. I love you. This will be okay. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. As I call to the Ascended Masters of the General Assembly, although the slave archetype is a wild card family, I mean, I gave sort of divine family archetype examples there. Kitten, are you okay? We've got some skulkies going on. What's going on? Are we all right? Yes, all right. It's the mama thing. I have that mama intuition when it comes to my cats. I am the Archangel of Lyons. What do you want? So please, Ascended Masters, the perfect healing mantra, knock their socks off. What will help them that they could focus on for 2 weeks to alchemize that slave from lead to gold with that Gemini, which might be a good way to change the mind, to make the mind a bit more mutable, see things differently, come to thunk of it. And with the Empress, there's no question, if this is them from the outside looking in, there is something rich and beautiful and unconditionally loving. This can be the archetype of the mother, the archetype of the wife, and certainly grounded, right? You can't get more grounded than Demeter, except maybe for Gaia, because Demeter's the topsoil, Gaia's the whole planet, volcanoes and all. So please, what's the perfect healing mantra to help them do this shadow work this full to new June 2022? Activating the third eye. I am willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. Like Geminis do every second of the living day, right? Every day of their lives. Seeing beyond their beliefs, ideas, and conclusions, I suppose that's why they're always running late. Well, I could go that way or I could go that way. Well, it's more of a Libra. The first of 3 bookie book reads for you. A very, very powerful thing, particularly considering you got that Gemini card on the inner. The mantra activating my third eye is I am willing to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conditions. And when I first got this deck back in 2018, I was like, oh, that's easy to remember. I'm willing to see beyond my BIC, B-I-C. I said B-I-C. Beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. Activating the third eye. I am willing, throat chakra, to see beyond my beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. As your third eye opens, you are able to notice how each moment is a catalyst for your ever-expanding soul, right? Yeah, your finances maybe not so much, but everything's here to catalyze the soul. And a catalyst, for some of you chemists out there, I know some of you people do hair color, you know what a catalyst does. It speeds up or slows down. If you need another reference, put a little lemon juice on your apples after you peel them. They won't turn brown so quick. My mother's a nursery school teacher and a brilliant cook. Through your third eye, you will be able to more clearly see the lessons each moment offers, allowing every encounter to help you become an even more radiant expression of your highest potential. And highest potential is Carolyn Mason's word for the 10th house, Capricorn. That's why I make the big bucks free on YouTube. That's why you go to Patreon. Activating your third eye seems to be the thing to do here. And that right, Melks? Come sit with Mama. This mantra is ideal for dissolving personal judgments, right? Because you're willing to see beyond the lens that you hold about a person, place, or thing. Developing more patience and tempering inner conflict. So think the Temperance card and tempered steel, because that process is not easy. All right, a slave activating the third eye. Let's see how this goes. For a 5th card down, the Whispers of Love Oracle. I'm going to pick you up and give you squishums if you keep doing that. He hates being picked up. Go on, go lay down, bull boy. No. Irresistible force, immovable object. I'd rather be irresistible than immovable. The higher selves of all involved, the Whispers of Love Oracle. Let's see what hits the table. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. As I call upon the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra. And above, what is the whisper of love for the Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading to help them alchemize the slave archetype in the 8th, Gemini on the inner, Demeter, the Empress on the outer, activating their third eye, willing to see beyond their beliefs, ideas, and conclusions. And so let's give them something here to think about. higher selves of all involved, a piece of information, inspiration, insight they need for this shadow work, this full to new June 2022. Treasure your loved ones. Treasure your loved ones. It is important to love others deeply. Can I just tell you that the word treasure and abundance and prosperity are all connected with Demeter? She's a goddess of abundance, but it ain't just about fruits and vegetables, darling. She is the mother that feeds, but that means, you know, getting you what you need. And a good Empress mother, and again, this isn't about anybody's gender biologically, this is about electromagnetic divine dynamics. Your mother's going to get you what you need, but if it's not what you need, but it's what you want, and it's in any way not for your well-being, it ain't going to be delivered, right? So that's why seeing things beyond your beliefs, ideas, and conclusions with that Gemini, I almost want to say turn the other cheek, right? But that's what it means to see things differently, or listen to the other twin for a little bit. All of those voices deserve more love. And all of those voices need to be heard by you within yourself in shadow work. But that doesn't mean they get to drive and make your choices for you. But if it comes to treasuring your loved ones, that's the unconditional love of the Empress. And that's going to make a difference here so that you won't be all up in your mind. You'll be opening your heart. Now I'm going to tell you, if you suffer from overthinking, I am 4 planets in Virgo. One of them, my sun sign, Jupiter, Pluto, Uranus is in there. I don't know how it got in there, but it got in there. So I can overthink, right? But I learned from Matt Kahn, he really is a genius. He is. He truly is, in my experience and opinion. Never met him face to face. Don't know him. He don't know me. But I know that that's an alarm telling me my heart's not open. If you're all up here, you begin grounding it by treasuring your loved ones, even if they're not there at the moment, right? Activating your third eye. It's gonna bring divine energy to the party. Love is divine energy, the sacred truth of the heart chakra, according to Carolyn Mace's Anatomy of the Spirit, and it's also in my book, Words of Grace. Don't you want to know what your spirit animals and totems are on this little shadow work journey? I mean, they're with you anyway. Might as well know who's sniffing your ankle or stuck in your hair. Does anybody else hear that? It's like neighbors outside. Spirit guides. You don't usually talk that audibly. Particularly the animals, the aminal pantheons. So let's see. The Divine Animals Oracle. Stacy DeMarco's deck. Great book. I just read the first part and the last part. But this is my favorite pantheon. Please take a nice deep breath. That sounded an awful lot like a meow. Hi, Milky, you bullcat. Go on, go lay down with your brothers. It's nowhere near time to eat, and you don't get cookies till midnight. Temptations, man. You got a little kitty crack in there or something. One more nice deep breath, please. I'm sorry, but how could I be? He's so cute. Breathe. Still point. Made them laugh too. Must be them hyenas. As I call into the spirit animals and totems for the Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, watching this video, receiving this reading, who walks with them, who swims with them, who flies with them, who crawls with them, giving them the support, the protection, the guidance, the grace, the love, the wisdom, and the power, and whatever this oracle message implies to help them do this shadow work of the slave in the 8th, Gemini on the inner, Empress Demeter on the outer, activating their third eye, willing to see beyond their beliefs, ideas, and conclusions as they treasure their loved ones. A good head-heart balance there. So that maybe they will consider everybody's what to do here according to their own. Oh, and that might be what the conflict is surrendering it to the divine because they don't know what to do, because there might be so much information in that Gemini stuff, but that they really are. If this is the Capricorn from the outside looking in, then I would get why this is feeling better and better and better and better. So who walks with them, who swims with them, who flies with them, who crawls with them, doing this shadow work, this full to new, June 2022. beaver. Y'all got beaver. Can't say it without the little ta-ta-ta. We're closer now than ever before. I'm at Outer Shug Band Christmas and shit, it's June. I'm a little late or a little early. Nice beaver. Thanks, I just had it stuffed. I'll give you more 80s references and you can handle in one reading. Card number 27, your keyword work. Come on, you're Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. You're the hardest worker of the zodiac, except maybe by Virgos, but we do the fine detail, darling. It takes a while. So have a chocodile. Card number 27. If you don't know what a chocodile is, I am so sorry. It's a Twinkie dark dipped in chocolate. This shit was good. It did take a while to digest it. Card number 27, going to read the first part and the last part here. The beaver. Gee, Wally. It's another really old reference. Just leave it to my beaver. Just don't leave it in my beaver. Even though you just had it stuffed. Card number 27, the beaver. If you knew my family, you would know why that is so funny. To love your work is a gift. To find a balance between work and rest. It is worth aligning your work with your purpose if you can. Mine does. That's why I do the work, career, vocation reads. Take the guidance from the people who've achieved what you're trying to do. Being positively, mindfully engaged in your work, no matter what it might be, is healthy. Someone may be attempting to micromanage you at your job, and this is not an optimum way to work, which is why I am self-employed. S Corporation 1 girl, work, work. Our signs unite, everyone else untie. Perhaps it's time for you to be your own boss. And I know one of my goddesses, one of my humans, heroes, angels, witches, immortals, gods, goddesses on Patreon is a business owner, so you know who you are. I'm not calling you out. I don't do that unless I do. The magic, shall we? Let's look at beaver magic. That just sounds so 1970s. When you find it hard to motivate yourself, or when things are not working out with your career or work situation, beaver energy can help. Gee, Wally, when you need help finishing a physical project or attracting good craftspeople, call upon beaver magic to assist. It can't. I will, but it can't. Look, you are one of the most hardest working signs. I mean, Saturn is Kronos, is the Titan king that gave birth to the Olympians. I mean, it's intense. It's the teacher. It's the boundaries. It's the slow and steady wins the race. It's cardinal Earth. Capricorn is cardinal Earth, the mountain, right? What does it take to climb a mountain? But you get to that peak and you have a peak experience. Maslow, white courtesy telephone, please pick up. So, you know, there is work, there's career and vocation. It did mention both work and career there. A lot of people jumble them together. I don't, but it's a general read. I still don't understand why people take general reads personally, but yeah, it's a thing, I guess. Whatever. So, however this fits it, treasuring your loved ones, and just to throw in there, because it just zoomed across my third eye, this could be about the shadow work. It does say shadow work. It does. There are other cards in here that could have said it a bit clearer, but maybe they're working with that earth element. And remember, there's a lot of water in that beaver magic. Oh, God, everything I say comes out like it could be. Well, I'm already demonetized. I did it myself. To the punch. All right, remember we talked about here in the slave, the lead and the gold, the shadow and the light. Well, in the lead, because of the alchemy, if you do it, there's gold in the lead, right? Which means that there's a hidden blessing here, hidden right now. But that's why we use the Blessed Be as our last card down. Mystical Celtic Blessing Cards to Enrich and Empower by Lucy Cavendish. This deck is beautiful, the prayers are beautiful, and that's why we do them for real. I have been trying to keep it light. It's been a rough week here. I'm doing this when the moon is in Scorpio and the sun is in Gemini. It's too easy to go to Womp Wompville, Womp Womp. So, but this is where things get perhaps a bit sacred. So you ready? Torch of Archangel Ariel. There's only one of them that gave it to me. Please take a nice deep breath. still point. As I call upon the pantheons of all pantheons, all traditions, lineages, and cultures, covering everybody and their ancestry back to Adam or Anunnaki or whatever your gig is, please, one card in clarity. For the Capricorn Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, give us a clue, a tip, a hint. What is the hidden blessing, the gold hidden within the lead, that should they just do their best with this alchemy? They can't get it wrong. It can be delayed but not prevented. But if they don't delay, what is the highest, most quantum variably accurate blessing in all of this for the Capricorn Collective? Alchemizing the slave into surrendering their power of choice to the divine with complete trust, and trust is built slowly even with the divine. While their third eyes are being activated with that Gemini, lots of thoughts going through, but are they expressing them? In fact, they could be treasuring their loved ones just by the choices and the decisions that they make, how they express themselves. And with that Empress, that really does feel very Capricornian in that moment. That Earth, unconditional love, always there to support, right? The feeding Empress, the Spirit Queen on the outer. And that's why activating their third eye, they can look beyond. They can be willing to see beyond their beliefs, ideas, and conclusions, to see this differently, for sure, so that they can really treasure their loved ones, as everybody who has loved ones treasures them. And helping that heal on the planet, it's important to love each other deeply, particularly if stuck in the mind loop. And with that Beaver, there is work. There is always work in some way, shape, or form, particularly in terms of how we survive in the world, but also in the internal healing. There is healing work, light work, shadow work, all of it. And a side of fries with that, and a Jamocha shape if they still make them. What do you got? What is the hidden blessing for them, the Capricorn Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, should they do the shadow work to the best of their ability this full to new June 2022? A blessing to find your way. A blessing to find your way, literally, guidance. Well, because you don't know. You got this, I don't know, a slave archetype. If they know they don't know, the sooner they can surrender their will to the divine. Come on, it's thy will be done. Dad, don't really want to be nailed on my board. Sorry, it's a little rough. I knew that joke when I was a kid, though, right? Yeah, I could have done something else in Jerusalem. I'd really rather not. But you know what his faith was? But if it be thy, what he said, let this cup pass from me. I'm talking the Garden of Gethsemane. You may not be familiar, considering I'm a witch. For some reason I am. No, but he said, but if it is thy will be done. Choices. So let's read this one from the Bookie Book. We do these for real, as I said. Gorgeous card. Card number 24. You know that if I'm using my these cards in a reading on my channel or in a private one, I recommend them. I don't work with cards that don't click. And now I bought the majority of them up at the Magic Moon in Saratoga Springs, where I will be on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday of this week. Ready? Ooh, this is a long one. A blessing to find your way. Last time, please take a nice deep breath, unless you want to keep doing it. Breathe. Still point. Pantheons, the divine, please confer the blessing through me. Use me. Here we go. Card number 24. A blessing to find your way. A blessing for when we find ourselves utterly lost and unsure of which way to go. Whichever direction we turn in seems as dense and dark as the other. There is no one to show us the way. There is no light with which to see the path. There is no map for where you find yourself. When we find ourselves in that space where we are utterly bereft of where to turn, of what to do, of whom to trust, let this blessing help you find your way once again. You once knew where you were headed. You once knew who you were. You once could trust in that inner compass that would help you turn and walk to the true north of your life. But now you are lost. You are without direction and seem only to entangle yourself more with every turn and twist as you seek to escape. This blessing will help you see your movement and rekindle the quiet knowing within you once again. May you surrender to this moment, surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. Double whammy. And let yourself be still and quiet a while. You may not seek now to move, but to observe and to feel and to come back into connection with yourself. May you feel the reweaving of yourself with yourself. And as you do this, may you be blessed with the sight to pierce the darkness and see what lies ahead, activating the third eye. When that moment comes, may you begin to feel your compass stir and turn and point to a path. May you begin to rediscover who you are. And in that rediscovery, come a knowing of what the person you are must do next. May a sense of relaxed and graceful certainty begin to deliver you from this period of vulnerability. Yet let the gifts of understanding and compassion, of the inner knowing which can unite us all, be with you always. For you have been lost. Lost my space, that was weird. For you have been lost. And in the acceptance of that, and in the strange, comforting rest of that, you may now give yourself the space and time to allow your core to speak for you again. Your core, your heart, the truth of who you are. The soul. For its voice was dulled by the noise of the world and the apparent certainty of knowing who we are, as if we had any clue. When we lose that, we can finally have a moment in which we can see the soul clearly, without bias and cliche. We find ourselves through the losing of who we thought we were and where we thought we ought to go. May this process of loss and re-enrichment bring you the blessing of your own self. For the well-being of all, and with harm to none, as we will it. So let it be done. So motivated. And so it is. We get a nice, gentle ending to that. You will find your way. We always do. Heroes got to get lost on the journey so that he can discover what it's like to be found, to find their way. And there you go. Did it help? Did it make sense? Hit the thumbs up. Seriously. Helps other people see it. Helps them find what they need and hopefully find their way. And if you like my work, if you think I got cool hair, if you think I'm fun, if you think you know what I'm talking about, because all of those things are not just true, they're the truth, then subscribe here on YouTube. I'm not stopping anytime soon. This is my creative passion, my mystical creative passion. I am a master of the mystical arts, not like Dr. Stephen Strange, more like his gay younger brother, Scotty Strange. Yes, which work. Sorry, trying to lighten up the vibe. Not sorry, trying to lighten up the vibe. And if you want to go deeper, if you want the exclusive content, if you want me with a cup of coffee every morning on your device, hair do what it's gonna do in a bathrobe talking about the lunar astrology, then come Patreon. Oh, Patreon! Oh my god, it's above my head again. Patreon.com/drawing the circle. Believe me, I lost my way last year, and Patreon was part of me getting my groove back, with or without Stella. So if you want to book me for a private read, there is a link in the description box. Booking a reading with Mal explains everything for you, just like Clarissa on Nickelodeon in the 90s, I think. Yeah, maybe 90s, yeah, whatever. Otherwise, seriously, wishing you all the very best and the very blessed, my beloved cardinal earth signs. I've said it over and over. If the gods were kind, and if I were to ever marry again, it would probably be to a Capricorn in some way, shape, or form, because cardinal earth and mutable earth can get a lot done, and you know that the body stuff would be fun. So, wishing you all the very best and the very blessed out there, and blessed Pride Month, and thank you for all our advocates out there. I love you. Good luck with this. Comment down below if you feel it. Otherwise, oh, have at it, my caps. Hail, farewell, and blessed be.